G'day everyone. So I find myself at a point in my life now where I really just want to leave the world behind. Well, at least the modern world that is. You know, I'd really love to just get out in the country somewhere, live a more quieter and peaceful life. Um, really just want to leave the system. Basically, the system's like a treadmill. It just never seems to end. It's just a constant barrage of noise, really no rhythm to it. So fed up with the city life and all the racket of it. You know, where I live at the moment, it's basically like living at a racetrack. I mean, there's cars hooning around all the time. There's bikes screaming around all the time. You know, it's people yelling at each other. It's just so draining, eh? Um, and I can't help but wonder if it's even ever going to be achievable. With the way things are going, cost of living's completely out of hand, and house prices are just skyrocketed, even out in the country. Like to pick up some land and a house out in the country now, it's almost seeming like it's unachievable. I'm not even sure if I'm ever going to get there anymore, but I really just have such a desire just to leave this nonsense behind, eh? Um, the modern world is so illogical. I mean, success is quite often defined by material gains and things like that, and if you drive a flashy car or something like that, then you're perceived as successful and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's just so illogical and over this system, eh? Um, you know, Unless you bury your head in the sand, I guess you're completely fine with it. But I'm not the type of person to bury my head in the sand. And I see what's going on with the way the world's going too. Costs keep going up, and society literally just seems like it's crumbling at the seams. It's getting more and more mad. There's crimes out of control. It's just getting worse and worse, and it seems like since COVID, everything just progressively gets worse and worse. And there doesn't seem to be any end in sight. Um, and really, since COVID, that's when I've really wanted to just leave the system and go and live a more quieter lifestyle out there in the country somewhere. Um, and it might be a bit more lonely out in the country and that sort of thing, but I'm completely fine with that. I hear a lot of talk these days about the male loneliness epidemic and that sort of thing, but really, I think it's more of a male solitude epidemic more than anything, right? Like us men, we love to seek our solitude. I think that's quite often, why we do things like go fishing and camping and that sort of thing. We love to, get out there on our own and just be still, be at peace. Get away from the hustle and bustle of the daily grind. It's just something us men I think always seek is solitude. Um, and that's really where I'm at in my life. I'm finding myself really wanting to seek that solitude and just live a more quieter and peaceful life somewhere. I think about off-grid life too, or at least maybe even semi-off-grid life where I've got the grid, but I'm more self-reliant. With my own rainwater and solar panels and batteries and that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, I'm finding myself like wondering if this plan is even going to be achievable anymore. I look at property all the time. Like, it's pretty much daily. I'm looking through properties, scrolling through properties, and I, do it in multiple states too, not just me home state. I'm always looking for property and um, wondering, if I'm ever actually going to be able to even achieve it. Yeah, so I think, really, I'd like to escape and be off grid for the most part, and have myself a little bit of land somewhere. So I think probably the best option for me is to buy something, and then slowly develop it over the next couple of years to be more of an off-grid homestead. And then, when the time comes, maybe I can move out there and, live that off-grid sort of lifestyle, or semi-on-grid, and just kind of slowly set it up as I go. Um, and obviously, I'm stuck with the system for a while. I'm not going to be able to escape it yet, but maybe if I keep chipping away at it, then maybe one day I might be able to actually get there and live that more peaceful lifestyle. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on escaping the system and why I'd like to do it. Surely I'm not the only one. So if you're thinking about doing this sort of thing too, then drop a comment. How are you going to achieve it? Um, Obviously, it's a really difficult task to do. So I'm always looking for ideas of how this might be possible. And I think really making the switch instantly to off grid life is a big jump. So I think it's better from what I see to maybe buy that land and then go out there and slowly chip away at it. Um, and then that way too, I've got somewhere to go on the weekends that's away from the hustle and bustle, and I can slowly build it up over time. And then later on down the track, I can make the switch and everything's ready to go. I'll have me chickens and me rainwater and me solar panels, and I'll have some fruit trees and all of that sort of thing going, and it's going to make that jump much more achievable, I think. So yeah, drop a comment. I'd be interested to know what other people think about this. If you're planning on doing it, how you're going to go about it. And also maybe drop us a like if you like the video too. Cheers, legends.